Hello, this is Juliana Raposo with the San Diego Bromeliad Society. Today we will talk to Nathan Gazinel David from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Hi, Nathan.
Hey Juliana, how are you feeling today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm wonderful as always. Actually, today I had a little crisis of nerves because I would give the presentation, but I'm recovering with some time during the presentation. I gotta feel really well, but I'm feeling fantastic.
Well,
So,
we're all friends here. It's all good.
hmm, thank you. Yeah. So I think that you're gonna present say something about me, isn't it?
Yeah, so uh, some of you may already know Nathan from social media because he has a lot of interesting posts about bromeliads. But Nathan is an explorer, he's a collector, and he's an adventurer. So he has one of the largest private collections of Brazilian species of bromeliads, also gesneriads and cacti. And in July of this year, along with fellow naturalist Sejong Zhang, he completed a field survey of tillandsias and other flora in southeast Brazil, where they covered this huge area. And soon they will reveal some newly discovered species. And also, Nathan has given talks to the California Horticultural Society, the San Francisco Bromeliad Society, La Bellona Society, and now us. Take it
Mhm.
away, Nathan.
Yeah, that's a pleasure to give that presentation. I really hope that you all appreciate that. And the title of our presentation is Collecting and Science, Collecting, Traveling, and Studying Brazilian Flora. Why that title? Because there is a kind of a war in Brazil when we talk about collecting things, about collection, about science, and that image of a collector between a scientific field, and because it's not really well seen, the idea of a botanist being a collector or a collector being a botanist. It's a thing that has some kind of a conflict between that. And I'm that person. I started to collect orchids with 5 years, and then also I was a collector of many things more, like soap to take shower. Like that's so crazy. Yeah, I know, but like now I'm here talking to you all in my as I say, cabinet de curiosité, as we say in French. Uh, curiosity cabinets. That's how I should say it in English, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
curiosity
uh,
cabinet. I can see in the back. Yeah.
yeah, here is my part of my indigenous art collector from Brazil, some Egyptian piece, and things like that. So to live in my house is kind of a journey because so when I go to the field to study to do some field work with botanists, actually I must tell you all that I'm not yet a botanist. I was born a botanist, but I'm not yet. I'm studying biology, and I gonna be a botanist. But no, I'm trying to be a biologist, but I'm a red that since I was born, and so I'm inside. I'm um, I'm studying biology as I said, and as I was saying, why when I go to the field with friends and I come back with plants, it's not uncommon to me to stay like on my bed and there is a tarantula walking in the bedroom or frogs all over because they come with the bromeliads and it doesn't belong like I didn't want to take them but sometimes they are with the plants and in the field everything must be very fast. We don't have time to do some certain things. And like not deciding to take, then sometimes we take, and there are frogs all over and tarantulas are in my bedroom, and that's crazy. There was a person called Evil, and on that moment they said he and Orlando and him and Orlando and my other friend Leda, friend of Orlando too, said that Evil, that man, was thinking about leaving his collection because he was not really more interested on that because he was already old and not really energized, if I can say like that, with the whole thing. And the next day, I was
Hold on.
in
If I should say, like you guys maybe remember Orlando Graff because he gave us a talk in 2021 about his garden in Petropolis and his art, his botanical art. So very interesting character. And you didn't tell us, Nathan, who was Ivo Pena? How did he come to have all
yeah,
these Bromeliads? Wow.
Evil was an architect that worked constructing Brasilia with Niemeyer and Bulemax. Ivo was that person, and while that he was also many things more. He was how do I say autodidata? Autodidata doesn't make sense in English.
Self-taught.
Self-taught. He was a self-taught in botanic, and Ivo started to describe plants with Edmundo Pereira, that was one of the most important botanists in Brazil
Hmm.
since all. And Ivo was a really good friend of Edmundo. And while he was describing plants with Edmundo, Edmundo used it to give him the plants, to him to take care at home, to try to make the plants bloom, and then to describe the plants.
Hmm.
And that was kind of agreement with between them. And
Like a living herbarium,
yeah,
almost.
yeah. And so that collection that I inherited from Evil is composed by those plants and also many plants more that he collected with the family Correia de Araújo. That we have also Roembergia Correia Araújo, that we have Neurogelia Correia Araújo, and Echimeia Correia Araújo, many plants more with the name in honor of the family. I inherited those plants, and when I say those plants are plants from the holotype material. So the first plants to be collected in nature to be described. So if we have some question about what is, let's suppose, a Roembergia Correia Araújo. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to be snob in what I say, but I have the original plant that can show what is truly a Roembergia Correia Araújo, the pure plant, the one that was the one that it was used to be described. It's a clonotype,
And you
and
have all the field information, all the collection information, so it's like very valuable for study.
yeah. There is a citation of Louis XIV, that is, when Noel was a party on Versailles, they asked Louis XIV how many bedrooms had Versailles. And Louis XIV, he answered, if I knew how many bedrooms I had on my palace, it wouldn't be big enough. And that's how I take the my collections. But it's around 203, 2,300, 2,200, 300, something like that. And but for example, Chilanzias. I have the hugest, the biggest collection of chilanzas in Brazil. So about something that's really common, let's say, chilanza stricta. I had chilanza stricta from the extremely northwest Brazil to the extremely southwest Brazil. All the plants that occur in the Atlantic forest I have almost from all states of Brazil in the coastal area. For Tillandsia recurvata, that is a very common plant, I have the same situation. I have, for example, Tillandsia dicica from all the diagonal from Argentina to the extremely northwest Brazil. And we can see clear the difference of how the plant evolved in different circumstances in all the Brazilian territory. And
Mhm.
that's why my collection is important, because there is no collection with that specific um,
Focus.
focus, but also like it's Tillandsia stricta is a common plant.
Uh-huh.
They're very common. So as a lot of people say, like, but why do you have so many common plants like that? No, I have the common ones and I have all the others too. But but like about the all the plants, all Tillandsias that we have described in Brazil, I don't have only three. And so um, the importance of the exchange material with collections is exactly about what I started to talk about. That Ivo passed the collection to me, and somebody passed the plans to Ivo too. And to who I gonna pass my plans? No, that's the incognita. That's the question.
Mhm.
How are we gonna follow that? How are we gonna take that? And how gonna be the future of a collection like that? And I see no solution different than the construction of a foundation for the conservance of Brazilian endangered plants, Brazilian endangered ecosystems, or things like that. That is, as I'm saying about many things, a whole another thing. And I just want to give a brief of that because on that, because if I skip on that, all the presentation gonna be about how construct a foundation and based on what and with in which direction take that. So, but that is the main idea that know my direction. The way is only to construct a foundation to keep my collection, to keep the Brazilian, to try to make the conservation of endangered plants.
Right.
And yeah, so I already spoke about that point. That is when the collection becomes bigger than the collector, what it is destiny. And I already spoke about that. And trips over Brazilian rainforest. I'm gonna also give an idea of how was my trip with the already mentioned Sejong, with who I traveled around Brazil. I traveled over 14,000 kilometers with Sejong in Brazil. Can you
Wow.
have a notion how crazy is a trip like that? And yeah, that's really crazy. So, um, that's me taking a picture of Syncoria albopicta in Mucugê on our trip. This is the on our left we see where we already went in Brazil, all the places that we went. And the second map on our right gonna be the full area of that we're gonna study, that we're gonna study in just 1 year and a half.
Wow, it's huge.
That's unbelievable. The word for that is no is impossible to use another word than unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
something without Sejong, because I know that you guys gonna see that when he give the presentation. He is unbelievable. And it's another new species. It's really a miscellaneous. Actually, as you guys can see, I did a miscellaneous in the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But in this picture, we can see a new species from the region of north part of the state of Minas Gerais.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a plant related to Termifolia, and it's been analyzed, but as we can see, it's definitely a new species. It's another crazy plant, really crazy plant, because I don't know what it is. The possibility is that it's a hybrid, but we don't have any plants with uh, um, that color of flower in the region. And the plant that just that plant should deserve a presentation, because it's a complicated history involving related to Tillandsia leonamiana, because in the beginning, Seidel collected plants in Paraná and sent to Europe. But when Renate Ehlers saw the plant, she saw that was another thing, a new thing, and she asked for more plants. But when arrived, the plant was another plant. So
Mm.
it's a really complicated history, and one of those plants, Seidel said that came from the state of Minas Gerais. And sorry for the pictures now, but the pictures belong to my personal archive. I didn't want sorry, I didn't thought in the beginning that I was taking pictures to show to do something, some presentation. It was just a personal control of my collection, of how the plants was uh, growing and evolving in collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Neurogelia insulana, that they say that it's microendemic to also the archipelago of Alcatrazes. And I wanted to put those pictures more about like some curiosities, some strange plants. We already have that plant in the Conus, I think, in United States, but as I said, apparently it's microendemic to the island of Alcatrazes
Mm-hmm.
until we do a better research. And it's a Chilensis stricta. That's a variation that happens in Brazil, just in north part of Bahia, and going up to the northest part of the extremely northwest part of Brazil, and it always keep that greenish color in the bracteas, with kind of a cerulean color, blue color in the flower. It's
Mm-hmm.
always like that.
Different.
Yeah, yeah. That's an Dichia oscari. It's also a rare plant to find in Brazil, and it's a plant from also West Brazil. Um, it's Eichmeia liliacinanta. That's a rare plant. You saw that plant at Rolando's house.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rare plant, a really rare plant.
It's
That
also
one.
from Mato Grosso.
No, no, no. That one, as I said, I did a miscellaneous in the presentation. That one is a plant from Petropolis. It's a plant
Mm-hmm.
from Petropolis, and apparently, it happens. It exists just in one region. In the name of the district is Rocio. That's the holotypal material plant from Ivo of Vrisia punctulata, a plant that Ivo described himself. That's Tillandsia ayrtoni. That is a plant that was just some years ago described. I made the connection with the botanist to tell him the location, to him to go there and collect the plants. And when he collect the plant, that person is Everton. And Everton saw the plant immediately. He knew that was a new thing. So the plant is described in honor of a botanist called Ayrton. That's a natural hybrid between Tillandsia ayrtoni and Tillandsia iassuensis.
Mm.
Yeah, this is Tillandsia hoffackeri, one of the lost, apparently, they say that is a lost species in Brazil. And that plant came from Czech Republic, from a collection because it's like it's the only plant in collection in Brazil. It's not really true because apparently we are finding the location. I didn't go there, so that's why I'm saying in on that way to put the verb to use the verb as we are thinking that you're finding the location
Mm.
because it's not really checked. This is Deuteroconia messiana in the collection of Orlando Graff. The plant in the left, the that with wine-like color plant, I gave Orlando, and
Mhm.
that plant is from Mato Grosso also, and yeah, that
Love
plant
that plant.
that's a beautiful plant. You know, the plant change colors each season in the of the year. Each season, if you go there now, gonna be one color. If you go in 2 months, gonna change. But it has the darkest color when it's in the driest season. That's Neurogelia affinis baiana, a crazy clone that came from the Cactarian horst. As we can see, it grows on a very strange way to grow. It's totally uncommon for a Neurogelia to grow. Uh, can you see, Juliana?
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
strange, really strange. It's a
Tubular.
yeah, it's a really strange, and it grows like an creating, it's going up, and it definitely it grows getting larger, but it grows in the direction of like a going up, and it's not common for an Neurogelia.
No, totally different. Yeah.
That's Canistrum that came from Kamakan, but we have all over that plant in a color on a type color that is green, and that one is a kind of wine. It's a rare also specimen.
Hmm.
This is Siqueiranthus. As I said, sorry for the pictures. It wasn't a picture to be used on a presentation,
It's
and
okay.
that's a Siqueiranthus cinereus, a plant that also was just described. And Everton Ilo, he gave me the plant, and I'm trying to make Everton give a presentation to the San Diego Society.
Yeah.
That one is a Comashantini variation Amazonica from Bulle Max and Margaret Me, and they collected while traveling Amazon. That's a plant that tells a history, and
Yeah.
probably that one was the specimen used by Margaret Me to make the drawing that is very famous around the world, and about an ecmeia, and probably is that one because it was, as I said, collected by Burle Marx and Margaret Me.
Amazing.
And Colirius Crutor, um, as you guys can see, I don't have more space for plants. And I just wanted to put a picture how I put my plants in the collection, and I just took put some pictures, and like as you guys can see, it's very small place, and I have 2,000 around 2,200 plants
Wow.
on 3 different places. And if you guys arrive here and visit my place, it's almost impossible to get in the greenhouse. You must be very attentive how you are walking there. And this is Tillandsia burlemax, the plant that they found once, only one time, and never more, never more. And we don't know from where it came from.
Mm.
It's not a rarest plant to find in collections in the United States, but it tells a history, you know. It's about the destruction of
Yeah.
ecosystems. This is a Tillandsia berger. Why I decided to put this plant here? Because it came from a population in Bahia where it's called Tillandsia sprengeliana. It's it's definitely something really wrong, and for who don't really know the plant, what is a Tillandsia sprengeliana, gonna look the plant and gonna think it's an sprengeliana, but it's not an sprengeliana. Uh, who knows a sprengeliana can see very clear, but it's in the archives in the botanical garden it says that's sprengeliana.
Hmm.
Tillandsia recurvifolia var subsecundifolia. That is a common plant, but why I decided to put here? Because it's misunderstood the difference for in many collections in the United States between Tillandsia recurvifolia variation subsecundifolia and Tillandsia leonamiana.
Hmm.
People changed the labels and they made a mess all over the world with that. So to
Hmm.
talk about that's a very, very important question. And this is Tillandsia waiasuensis. That is a newly described plant by a German. Also, apparently, the plants arrived in Germany 20 years ago.
Okay.
This is a new species that Henrique Binnicker, he thinks that is a new species, but I don't think so. I think it's a variation of Alcatrazensis, the plant from the archipelago of Alcatrazes. That plant is the last plant that I found in nature. I mean, last until this presentation. The last thing that I found in nature is that plant.
Okay.
And in Henrique Binnicker, he thinks that is a new species. And you guys gonna see that the news in the future. This is Dickia martinelli that I found in the same trip with Henrique Binnicker. That is one of the rarest species of Dickias and one of the only two species of Dickias in the state of Rio de Janeiro. We have Dickia martinelli and we have Dickia pseudococcinea in around the area of Pedro Naum, around Maricá. And that plant it happens in Paraty, in the state of Rio de Janeiro, and the population is really limited because Dickies, as we know, needs a special condition of a place to grow. It needs good ventilation, really good ventilation, and strong sun. So to advocate to growth inside of a forest is almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's like 90% impossible. And in that region, all over, it's just a rainforest. So to find the correct place to Dickia martinelli to grow is really hard. And it means that I wouldn't be surprised if in some years, in not our existence, I'm saying, it gonna soon disappear because the forest is eating literally the area. It's taking all around. It's just one of the last places that the forest didn't colonize it. So probably that plant gonna disappear, but it's a natural phenomenon. How do I say that? Natural,
Phenomenon.
yeah, phenomenon. Yeah, this is a Chilensis germiniflora hybrid between Chilensis gardneri So as you guys can see, I really like natural hybrids.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is a natural hybrid?
Yeah, it's a natural hybrid. It came
Mhm.
from the state of Espírito Santo, and it's as I said, and it's rolled. It's a natural hybrid between Chilanza gemminiflora and Gardneri. But I have in collection Chilanza gardneri ver uh, crossed with Chilanza stricta. I have Chilanza gemminiflora crossed with Elbergery. I have Chilanza gemminiflora crossed with stricta. So it's really a mess. To don't really use the proper words to talk about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and apparently it's the last slide of our presentation, and I was there with Henrique Binica on my last expedition to find the Kia Martinelli, and as I showed in the last pictures, and the plant in the branch is Echimeia nodicaulis variation para T. That is a very, very famous clone around, I think, United States because it's compact and really, really, it has a really fantastic color, like
Mhm.
purple, all mixed. It's a really small plant. When I say small, it's like 15 centimeters, 15 centimeters, and it's a very beautiful plant. And I just wanted to end the presentation with that picture that I like it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. So here we are, and I hope you guys appreciated. I must also I must say that Juliana unfortunately gonna need to cut the presentation in some parts because I speak a lot. I speak.
You're very passionate and you have a lot to share. So we are very thankful, Nathan, Nathan, that you gave us this presentation, and it's been a beautiful one. And now we're gonna open for some questions.
Thank you. So I really appreciated to give the presentation. I'm gonna be here with pleasure answering you all.
All right. Thank you.